Tastes like I ain't never tasted, so here we go.
I love this.
Patty. If anybody know Patty LaBelle, tag her in the video. Patty! Whoa!
I love this
Into
video.
Patty. You turn into Patty after eating this.
Okay, it's so fucking funny. The guy's hilarious. He needs his own show.
So funny. 3 minutes of pure hilarity.
Now, you know what he reminds me of? Have you when you've seen that show with the guy Titus on there? On the Kim. You've got to see this show. You've got to know who I'm talking about. Keep talking and I'll tell you about it. Keep talking. Keep going. Talk.
Well, and like what I especially love about him is that he's like unintentionally funny. Like I love people that don't try to be funny and they're just naturally funny.
Exactly.
I watched that video probably 5-6 times already.
And I am kicking myself because the night that it like went viral, before it like had even hit 1 million, one of my friends had posted it and it was like 9 at night and I was like, damn, should I go get one of those pies because I know it's gonna be gone tomorrow. I know it's gonna be gone tomorrow. And I didn't get up and go get it, and 2 days later I drug my ass into Walmart knowing it wasn't there, and that bitch was not fucking there.
It's gone. It's gone.
I want one so bad now because of that. I want one now because of that video. No lie.
Well,
but hold on.
Yeah.
445 calories for one slice.
It's probably worth it.
It's Thanksgiving. I don't care.
It's worth it. Go ahead.
I just lost 20 pounds. If I take one sniff of that bitch,
now listen,
it's an automatic explosion.
If you've not seen this show, I think I talked about it. I talked about my show before I started doing this show with you guys, but it's called Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It's on
on Netflix.
Yeah, have y'all seen it before?
No, but I dated this boy that was
watch it. It's hilarious. But there's a guy on there. His name is Titus Burgess. If you like this black guy in this show, you're gonna love the black guy in this show because he looks like him. First of all, it looks almost identical to him. He acts just like him. Watch it. Watch it. If you're not watching it, watch it. It's on Netflix. It's hilarious. Watch it. Also on the show is what's her name from Jane Krakowski? Do you know who she is from 30 Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's on there too. And also the old lady from that show from the 80s. What was her name? Oh my God, I can't remember her name. Anyway, but if you like this guy, you'll love the show. Watch it. So if you're listening to the show and you thought that was funny, watch this show. It's funny. Go on.
All I know is Patti LaBelle better send him a residual check for selling 2.4 million in pies in 2 days.
She should do something for the guy. I mean, seriously.
She called him. She said, "Hey," but still, you can
That's
throw
not
me a
enough.
residual, Patty.
Exactly, but no, they're also saying they're also saying that they were in talks of him maybe singing background when she goes on tour or something like that.
He's got a voice, doesn't he? Jesus.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know he was like really, really funny. It was just like he wasn't trying to be funny, but
right.
it was just I don't know if we can get him on the show.
Oh, well, that'd be great. Why don't you work on that?
Try to reach out and see.
Why don't
if
you
he'll
work on that then?
I will do that because I actually follow him on Facebook, so I'll reach out to him.
What is his name anyway? Do you know his name?
It's Joseph. It's
something Chanel. It's like this fake name, something Chanel.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can look it up right quick. Actually.
Well, I think it's funny. It's funny.
It's funny. Yeah, it's very funny. On my own.
I know. By the way, it's one of my favorite songs by her. I love that song, and she and Michael McDonald. I love that song. Oh yeah. So Charlie Sheen. Let's talk about that real quick.
Oh Lord.
Now this is not a big surprise. I mean, to me,
I'm really not surprised. So Charlie Sheen has come out saying that he is HIV positive. I have not seen First of all, let me say I have not seen the actual interview that he did on the Today Show. Or was it Good Morning America? I can't remember. But I'm just going off of what I've heard on through social media. So supposedly someone, don't quote me again. Do not quote me because I have not looked into this yet. But from what I have heard, someone was going to expose him, allegedly saying that he had that he was HIV positive.
The Inquirer.
But I guess he just wanted to beat him to the punch and just be like, "Yes, I'm HIV positive."
The National Enquirer was going to out him.
What was that?
The National Enquirer was going to out him today.
Yes. So here's my thing with it. Now, when I first initially heard this, to be honest, I really wasn't surprised, just because of the track record that he's had for the past 4 or 5 years.
Well, just with reckless drug use, needles, and things like that, as well as very unprotected sex with strangers. So and porn stars, yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, first thing, I felt somewhat sorry for him. Well, no, I take that back. Actually, let me take that back again. When I first heard he was HIV positive, I felt sorry for him briefly. Then I was just like, you know what? I don't feel sorry for him, and I'm sure someone's going to be like, what would you, that type of thing. But I didn't feel sorry for him with his track record, with all this drug use and unprotected sex and all these porn stars and, all this other stuff. It's like, I really don't feel bad for you, and I'm really not surprised.
Well, do y'all think that being HIV positive has the same stigma it once did, or do you think it depends on who it is? Do you think it depends on how it's contracted? I mean, what do you think about people who have contracted HIV today versus, of course, y'all are both, at least, anyway, whatever, go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think there's still a stigma on it, just because, I mean, just the both of you guys have just said, yeah, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? There are, many ways, obviously, that you can
contract it. Yeah,
and we, like you said, we do know his track history, but
his track history.
My mind is racing. My mind is racing right now with the appropriate way to say it. But of course, there's still a stigma, and will that ever stop? I don't know.
Would you?
It's like, remember that interview with Candace Cameron? She basically said, this is the punishment you get for living that type of lifestyle.
Oh God, that irritated me so badly. I mean, she's talking to what's his face from Who's the Boss? Yeah. That was horrible. Well, that's, first of all, I don't believe in all that bullshit punishment. God doesn't hand down. Just like what's her face said, Julia Sugarbaker said on Designing Women. There was a woman who said that exact thing. She said, "Well, if these boys weren't out there doing what they're doing, they would be getting these diseases." And Julia Sugarbaker's like, she's like, "Who do you think you're talking to?" She's like, If God were handing down punishments for sexual promiscuity, you'd be at the free clinic all the time, she said. So, it's like there's no such thing as this punishment people equate to HIV. It's a ridiculous thing. It's just a disease people contract based on their own what's the word I'm looking for? Their own irresponsibility or whatever
behavior.
The word is. Behavior. That's the word I'm looking for. And sometimes people get it without their own fault anyway. Sometimes it's through blood transfusions. Sometimes it's because someone lied to them and said they were negative and they were actually positive or whatever. Now, have either of you ever dated someone who was HIV positive?
No.
I have. I'm negative, and I have. But I dated a guy 6 months in 2001. I just remember a long time ago. But anyway, and he was HIV positive, and I had no problem with it. And people have a stigma about it. As long as you're safe and you take care of yourself, it's not an issue. But
well, that's true, because there's a such thing as safe sex.
Yeah, and we had safe sex. That's why I'm negative, right?
Yeah, so people do it, all the time.
But I'm just saying, I don't think there should be a stigma about it for people who do have it. However they contracted HIV, I don't think it's anyone's business necessarily how they contracted it. I don't think it's people should pass judgment on people who have it. I think that people who do have it, and it's just like any other disease these days, almost. I mean, like, manageable. So I think it's okay. I don't think it's a big deal. And so if the fact he has it, I mean, that's sad that he has it, because I wouldn't want to wish that on anyone. But as I said, and Jason said, I'm not surprised, because his behavior has been pretty abhorrent about that stuff. So whatever. Anyway, Jason, you said you had something you want to talk about. Was it Jason? A personal situation you'd like to discuss on the air?
Yes. So, welcome to my world.
Yes.
No. So there is a guy that I don't want to say that I'm talking to. We're not really dating. We're just.
You just been cracking bags.
No, we haven't even done that. We're just trying to get to know one another. So the thing was,
wait, what does he look like? How old is he? Tell us about him. What does he do for a living? I want to know some details first before you move on.
Okay, his name is Carlos. I'm not going to give it a last name.
That means he's Hispanic, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And, and his name is Carlos. And what does he do for a living?
He works in marketing.
And how old is he?
He is 29.
Okay, that's good. Okay, continue.
Okay. So, and he lives downtown.
Okay.
I just told this man where he lives.
Nobody,
Anyway.
that's how many Carloses there are in Dallas. Come on.
So, we've been talking for a few months off and on. And I'm going to tell you why it's been off and on. So, he travels for work. He works in marketing for a fast food chain.
Mm-hmm.
And he travels out of town. He goes out of town frequently. And so we were talking back and forth, and backtrack to a few months ago. We were talking about going out on a date.
Yes.
And he said, I was like, well, we can go. He asked me on a date, and I said, yeah. He said, well, where you want to go to eat? I said, it really didn't matter. And I said, well, he was like, well, just think on it and let me know. So fast forward to the next day. He sends me a text, and he says, I had to go out of town all of a sudden because my job needs me to go out to, I think he had to go out to like Arizona, like Phoenix or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, so we're going to have to put it off, but, I'm really, really sorry, and yada, yada, yada. And me being the type of person I am, I really wasn't upset. I was just like, oh, okay, because I know in that type of, industry or in that type of field, you have to get up and go when they say get up and go.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't fucked up about it. I was like, okay, that's fine, do what you need to do and just let me know. Didn't hear from him for like 4 months.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then...
So were you guys like friends on Facebook still, or like Instagram, or...
No, we met through a mutual friend.
Because in Christian's world, that's what matters most.
Well, no, I'm trying to think of how you guys were still tied
I'm
to
just
each other
kidding, because
before
it's generational. It's hilarious. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. No, but no, just to let you know, it wasn't through social media. We met through a mutual friend.
Okay.
So 4 months later, I was driving home and I get a call from this number, and I had totally forgot what his number was. So I pick up the phone and I was like, "Hey, who?" I was like, "Hey," and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Who the hell is this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, it's Carlos," and I was like, "Carlos who?" And he was just like, "Oh, we were supposed to go out on a date and stuff like that," and I was like, okay, that was like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So he was like, I know, I've been so out of touch, with reality and yada, 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 yada. So we talked for a while. We talked for a few hours that night, actually. And I was just letting him know I was actually pretty pissed off about it because I was like, if you had to go out of town or that type of thing and, you came back, I'm like, at least let me know what's going on. I'm like, I'm not the type of guy that's going to be like, trying to figure out your every move or put a GPS on your shit. I'm not that type of guy.
Yeah.
But it's like, just at least let me know what's going on. So, all right. We're going to fast forward to last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was just like, well, can I come over to your house so we can hang out? At first, I was a little reserved about it because I was like, well, I got to work and I got to do this and I got to do that. And it was, which I really did have to do, but also a part of me was that I just was like, okay, like all this going on, 4 months I had to wait. I'm like, you're going to have to wait on me now. I'm not stopping because of some guy.
So now, okay, yeah. Go on.
So finally we were supposed to meet this past Friday.
Yes.
Well, not meet. We met before. Let me take that back. We met before.
I know what you mean.
Meet
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I texted my address and everything. Never shows up.
Wait, you had it at a specific time to meet at your place or wherever, and he did not show up.
We were texting as the night progressed. We didn't have a specific time set up because I was still working.
Okay.
But I was like, when I'm leaving work, we were texting while I was at work. So I was like, as it gets closer time for me to leave, I'll text you and give you the address.
Okay.
That type of thing. So he said, okay, cool. So 2 hours later, I get off from work and I text him. I said, here's my address. Come on by. It's probably going to take you time because you're coming from downtown. I live in Frisco. I got a shower, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was like, take your time. Never showed up. Sent him a text. Never replied.
Wow.
So I was like, and then he calls me the next day. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep.
What?
And I'm like,
what?
So, exactly. So now I feel like the excuses, I'm just over the excuses.
Those are some
now.
big red flags, my friend.
Yeah. So I'm over the excuses now. I'm just like,
so is that the end of the story before I can comment?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was just like, he just kept standing me up. So after a while, I'm just like, forget it.
Well, that's what you should have done.